Hi class, this is Mrs. Cornett, and I'm going to show you how to find a slope from 2 points and to write equations in the slope-intercept form. This is from section 4.3, and this is part 1 of a few videos that I'm going to do for section 4.3. The first thing I want to review with you is the types of slopes. There are 4 types of slopes, and I have them here on this slide. If the slope is a positive number, the line of that equation will rise from the left to right. If the slope is negative, it will fall from left to right, or it will go down as you're reading the graph from left to right. A horizontal line has a 0 slope, and a vertical line has an undefined slope. Okay, take a look at these examples. The instructions say find the slope of the line that passes through the points, and then use the slope to state whether the line rises, falls, is horizontal, or vertical. In order to find the slope of 2 lines, you need to know the slope formula, which I have on the bottom right corner of the screen. It says the slope of the line through the points x1, y1, and x2, y2 is. Now you're probably familiar from high school this concept of rise over run. But when you plug it into a formula, it's actually y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so that's the formula that we'll use when solving these problems. So if you take a look at 7 and label the first ordered pair x1, y1, the second ordered pair x2, y2, and then we'll just plug in those values into the formula. This will be 6 minus a negative 1 over 2 minus a negative 4. Anytime you're subtracting, it's easier just to add the opposite. And so instead of 6 minus negative 1, this is 6 plus positive 1, which is 7. And then same with the denominator, 2 minus negative 4 would be plus a positive, which is 6. And so the slope for number 7 is positive 7, 6. And so this slope rises. Okay, let me show you another example. Let's look straight down at number 10. Again, name these first ones x1, y1. The second ordered pair x2, y2. This will be 0 minus negative 10 over negative 4 minus negative 4. In the numerator, 0 minus negative 10. We'll add the opposite to get positive 10. Same thing in denominator, we'll add the opposite. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Anytime 0 is in the denominator, this is an undefined slope. If you pull out your calculator and type in 10 divided by 0, an error message will come up on your screen because you cannot divide anything into 0 groups. And so number 10 has an undefined slope. An undefined slope means that it's a vertical line going straight up and down. Okay, take a look at number 8. This will be 1 minus 3 over negative 3 minus 5. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 3 minus 5, let's add the opposite. So that's negative 3 plus negative 5, which is negative 8. A negative 2 divided by negative 8 simplifies to a positive 1/4. And so this is a positive slope, which is going to rise from left to right. All right, let's look at number 11. We're going to plug it into the same formula. This will be negative 4 minus a negative 4 over 8 minus 3. The numerator, let's add the opposite. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. 8 minus 3 is 5. Now this time the 0 is in the numerator, and that is okay. That will simplify to 0 when you do 0 divided by 5. And so this is a horizontal line running left to right. And let me show you one more on this screen. We'll do number 9. This will be 4 minus negative 1 over negative 6 minus negative 6. Again, add the opposite. 4 plus 1 is 5. When we add the opposite in the denominator, negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Here we have an undefined slope again. Undefined is always vertical. The next examples I want to show you are asking you to write equations in a certain format. That format is called the slope-intercept form. It's also called equation of a line, So if you're reading in your textbook or seeing questions on WebAssign that ask you to write this as an equation of a line, it's talking about this slope-intercept form. The actual form is right here in the middle. It's y equals mx plus b, where m is the coefficient of the x term, which is also your slope value, and the constant, which they're calling b, in the ordered pair 0, b. So let me show you a few examples of that. These instructions say write the equation in slope-intercept form and then use the slope and the y-intercept to sketch the graph of the line. I also have some instructions that I'm going to follow for each of these problems at the bottom of the screen that you can read yourself. Okay, so let's take a look at 23. The very first thing is to rearrange this equation so that it fits that format of y equals mx plus b. The first thing, I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. This is negative y equals. I know the 3 came right after the equal sign, but now I want my x term to come right after the equal sign. So I'm just going to move the 3 over and put that negative 2x in its place and then add the 3. Next, we have to divide everything by negative 1. Now this leaves us with y equals 2x minus 3. So that's part 1 of your answer. The slope-intercept form is y equals 2x minus 3. That means the slope is 2, or we can go ahead and say 2 over 1. We can put it in the rise over run format. And the intercept is negative 3, but that's always 0, negative 3. And once you have these two pieces of information, it's actually really easy to put this on the graph, to put this on the coordinate grid. You're going to first find the y-intercept on the vertical y-axis, and you're going to put a dot right at negative 3. And then from that point, you're going to use the slope in the rise over run format to find your next ordered pair and then your next ordered pair. So from negative 3, I'm going to rise up 2 and go over to the right 1 and put another dot. And then I'm going to do that again. I'm going to rise up 2 over 1 to the right and put another dot. And I'll do it one more time. I'm going to rise 2 over to the right 1 and put another dot. And that's enough to connect a straight line. So this is the graph that matches the equation y equals 2x minus 3. Okay, take a look at 26. We're going to follow those same procedures with this problem. The first thing we'll do is we'll rearrange this equation in the format of y equals mx plus b. I've already subtracted the x from both sides. Now I'm going to go back and divide everything by 3. This will be y equals, I'm going to go ahead and put the 1, which is the coefficient of x. This will be negative 1/3 x plus 4. And that's part 1 of your answer. From this, we can tell that the slope is a negative 1/3 and the y-intercept is 0, 4. Okay, so we'll find 0, 4 on the y-axis. We'll put a dot right at positive 4. We'll use the slope. This time we'll go down 1 and still over to the right 3. So down 1, over to the right 3 and put another dot. Down 1 to the right 3 is another dot. Down 1 to the right 3 is another. And that is enough to connect these lines together. And so this is the line of the equation y equals negative 1/3 x plus 4. 24 is x minus y equals negative 2. First subtract x from both sides to get negative y equals negative x minus 2. Now divide all 3 parts by negative 1 to get the slope-intercept form of y equals x plus 2. That's part 1 of your answer. The slope is 1, or we can go ahead and say 1 over 1 for rise over run. The y-intercept is 0, positive 2. The first thing is we're going to plot 0, 2 on the y-axis right here at positive 2. and then we'll rise up one, over to the right one, and you can see this is easier. This is an easy pattern to follow. And that's about enough dots, and we'll connect that line. So this is the picture of the line of the equation y equals x plus 2. Okay, let me show you one more. Number 27 is 2x minus 6y minus 15 equals 0. The first thing we'll do is rearrange this equation to be in slope-intercept form. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x and add 15 to both sides in the same step. So that will leave me on the left side negative 6y equals on the right side is negative 2x plus 15. Now I'm going to divide all three parts by negative 6. Okay, these negative 6 simplify to 1, so this is y equals. Negative 2 and negative 6 simplify to a 1/3 x. And 15 and a negative 6 simplify to a negative 5/2. So that is part 1 of your answer. Now we can say the slope is 1/3 and the y-intercept is 0 5/2. And the y-intercept is 0 negative 5/2. The best way to plot a point when it's a fraction is to convert it to a decimal. And so negative 5/2 is the same as negative 2.5. And so that's where we'll start on the graph. We'll put a dot on the y-axis at negative 2.5. And then from here we'll still follow the slope, rise 1, and then go over to the right 3. So up 1, over 3, up 1, over to the right 3. And let's do that one more time. Up 1, over to the right 3, and then we'll connect those dots. And this is the line for the equation y equals 1/3 x minus 5/2. Okay, that's all for this video. Please let me know if you have any questions.